Earlier this week, I made a video talking about how Mutant Mayhem kind of destroyed what the TMNT stood for. And I said I was going to make a longer form video to go into detail about it. Now it's time for me to deliver. Ultimately, the whole purpose of this video is to explain a hard truth is that we need less aspirational stories and more realism stories. Here's what I mean. So in Mutant Mayhem, the TMNT started out as pariahs, but it didn't stay pariahs. Eventually, they became an accepted part of society. They had friends, they were going to school, etc. It's very different from what the actual TMNT were like. The OG TMNT, they never became part of society. They remained pariahs. They came to accept that and they become to live with it. They've even made that part of who they are. And for whatever friends they made along the way that came from normal society, hey, that happened. But they didn't pursue trying to be an accepted part of society. Along with that, it's the way of the ninja not to stick out. They have to stick to the shadows in order to work effectively. That is the way of the ninjas. So literally, they're kind of still defeating the point of them being ninjas. Because when it comes to ninjas, because common misconception is that ninjas dress in this super cool way. Actual historically accurate ninjas didn't dress like that. Historically accurate ninjas didn't stick out. They look like everyone else. You can't pick them out. No. Because let me give you an example. A ninja is James Bond. Ninjas use weapons that are conventional for that era. They dress in clothes that are conventional to that era. They do not stick out. So really and truly, a real life ninja would look like James Bond. But I bring all that up because at the end of the day, that's what the TMNT still kind of do. They stick to the shadows, fight wars in the shadows. They don't go out and about in public unless it's absolutely necessary. But along with that, they were okay with who they are. They didn't need other people from normal society to give them validation. They were just fine the way they are. They were brothers, and that's all they needed. We need to be more realistic like that because society won't always accept everyone. To this day, society doesn't accept everyone. So the thing is, in some aspects, I will, because I know some people may point this out. It's like, well, yeah, some of those people are creeps and weirdos and are child touchers. And in that case, you're absolutely right. We do not need to accept them. We should not accept them. But for the people who are still weirdos, or it's still branded weird or whatever, it's like, okay, but we need to normalize that too, in the sense of there may be nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with what you do, but people will still single you out. I feel like we need to be teaching people this and kids this, that hey, sometimes society won't accept you for who you are, but that's okay, because as long as you are a good person, you are fine just the way you are. No, I could give you even an example too. Because I've seen this still on social media and stuff like that, that sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, I just want to clarify that, there are certain times where people are like, oh no, I don't really do sleeping around, I'm going to save myself for marriage. Some people will be like, oh, okay, that's fine. But guess what? There are also a decent amount of people out there too who will look them up and down and be like, why? Why are you doing that? Why? Heck, do you remember that one tattoo show? It's like based in Britain, and there is this show where basically people tattoo their friends or whatever, and either in a negative way, positive way, just whatever. They surprise them with some kind of tattoo. On one of these episodes, there were two girls. They were friends, and one of the girls was practicing abstinence. She just didn't give it out to anyone. She was waiting for either the right guy or straight up waiting until marriage. So so her friend had the tattoo artist tattoo on her "Forever Virgin" or something like that. And the girl was like, dude, why? I'm not gonna say like this forever. I'm just not doing this right now. So the chick was obviously feeling some kind of way because her friend was still a virgin. But at the end of the day, the person practicing abstinence isn't hurting anyone. But some people will still be like, why aren't you doing it, kind of thing. And some people may even kind of guilt trip or kind of shame them, like, oh, you're still not, you're so boring. You're still a virgin, this, that, and the other. Because I still have friends. I have friends in my group who are saying that, oh, even in high school, I still get kind of like pressured and stuff because I just haven't given that up. I'm not making out with a bunch of people, not this, that, and the other. So what they're doing in this day and time may be considered a little quirky or a little bit like, oh, that's not usual. But there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. So a story talking about, hey, listen, you are fine just the way you are. Are you hurting anybody? Is what you're doing hurting anybody? No? Okay. Just know that within yourself you are a good person and you don't need their validation in order to prove that you're a good person, okay? Kind of thing. That would be a more realistic story than to have what TMNT Mutant Mayhem had. But this goes beyond Mutant Mayhem and the story that they had. There's also the stories about like the whole shooting for the stars, and as you can do anything you put your mind to, as long as you don't give up and you believe in yourself. While that is okay, we still need to tone that down and ground them a little bit. Because a lot of these times where people work hard or whatever, they still got lucky and that's how they're successful, or they're naturally gifted. So where are the stories about them not being able to shoot for the stars, but not letting that get them down? And that's why Monsters University is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. In the movie, Mike Wazowski wanted to be a scarer. Yeah, the pint-sized eyeball, who is not intimidating, wanted to be a scarer. He wanted to shoot for the stars. He believed in himself and he worked hard. And he didn't freaking succeed. But by the way he was acting, you could tell he had the ideology of, if I don't give up and I believe in myself, I can do anything. AKA putting all your eggs in one basket. Because he didn't have a backup plan of, okay, what if I don't become a scarer? What else would I do? What else would I like to do for a living? And that mentality does often get a lot of people into some stuff, gets them down. Heck, even in the movie, he almost put his entire universe in jeopardy. Literally, at the end of the movie, Mike Wazowski almost got the monster world exposed because he put all his eggs in one basket. But at the end of the day, the lesson he learned is, hey, not to do that. Just find something that you know you could do in the long term and try your best at that. Just work your hardest in whatever field you feel like you can do. While he didn't become a scarer, he was still able to work on the scare floor. And he helped out his scarer friend, who at the end of the day would be nothing without his expertise and technique. And I really like this story because it was kind of the way I was raised. You see, the way I was raised is my parents always had me make backup plans when it comes to certain stuff. My dream job is making graphic novels for a living and being successful at it. But what happens if that doesn't go anywhere? So they taught me to, okay, find something else that can have you live a comfortable lifestyle, and pay you well. What's something would you like to do? Eventually, I got to the point of, okay, driving for the post office would be nice. They have great pay and great benefits. But I don't really have a car yet, so it's like, okay, time to make a different plan. So what can you do now? But even if I do get a car, I still need to have another backup plan, but just in case if I don't get the post office job. So I'm still making a backup plan for that as well. So if all things go right, I will be a guy driving for the post office, accumulating money so I can start making graphic novels. If my graphic novel career doesn't pan out, I'll still have a comfortable lifestyle, be driving for the post office. And I'll still be able to go to Comic Cons, Dream Cons, etc. Take vacations in different states or different countries. I can buy a bunch of comic books and video games, etc. So I can still live a good, satisfying life even if I don't do my dream job. AKA, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. So at the end of the day, having stories talking about shooting for the stars isn't bad. We just need to balance that out with, hey, just in case you can't shoot for the stars, here's something else. Better yet, okay, let's continue doing shooting for the stars even more, but let's put a twist to it. Let's have these stories about people shooting for the stars, but the thing is, along the way, they find out, oh yeah, listen, there are 5 other people in my exact same position. I just got lucky, and that's how I was able to succeed. Hard work and not believing, not giving up on yourself was a small piece of it. A large amount of it was luck. Another aspect is, oh, I was just there at the right time and stuff. And that's the reason why I was able to succeed. Because how many of these content creators are successful only because of the era they started or because they got lucky? How many other people out there are doing the same thing they're doing? We're doing it around the same time as them doing it, but it was just one or two people out of the dozens of people that were able to get to shoot for the stars and be successful. Not only that, let's have other stories about, oh yeah, I shot for the stars, but guess what? I lost my freaking soul in the process. Because how many of these actors or musicians where it's like, yeah, I made it, but I'm not happy because I had to lose so much just to get where I am. It's not freaking worth it. But hey, who am I to complain? Because I got quadruple digit salary. I don't need to worry about my bills getting paid until the day I die. I'm fine. I'm completely fine. So who the frick am I to complain about how sad I am? You know what I mean? So let's have stories where it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to shoot for the stars, but then there's warnings along the way saying, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Or better yet, it's like, okay, yeah, you can shoot for the stars, but also not lose your soul. But you may not be able to shoot for the stars in the way that you think. So with this video, I'm not trying to say, oh, don't try to shoot for the stars, don't even have things that have people to encourage people to do that. Let's just not forget to tell stories of being realistic about how the real world works as well. But hey, that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. I also want to thank you guys for 1.12k subscribers, and it's just amazing how far I've gotten in a relatively short period of time. Thank you guys so much. I just can't thank you guys enough. And also, my Cash App is open if you guys want to sponsor the video. Any amount is welcome, and I'll see you in the next video.